Odessa and Big Spring. This is ABC Big 2 News at 10.
Now at 10, the American Red Cross is continuing its relief efforts tonight after a rare tornado ripped through a small town, leaving behind a trail of devastation.
We had quite a storm come through, lasted about 20 seconds, and it sure did a lot of damage.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Rob Tuke. Now, that tornado in Gaylord, Michigan left families shocked. In just a matter of minutes, it ripped apart most of the town. 2 people were killed, dozens more injured, and 1 person still unaccounted for tonight. Here's ABC's Faith Abube with the recovery efforts.
The tornado touching down at a mobile home park just before 4 o'clock Friday afternoon.
We have a major tornado strike here.
The storm then moving through the city's business area. People running for cover as debris flies through the air. The twister leaving extensive damage in its wake. Roofs ripped off. Homes and businesses destroyed.
Looks like part of Hobby Lobby roof is gone.
All of a sudden, like the roof started to shake. I turn around and the left side of Hobby Lobby's roof just came off.
The storm bringing down trees and power lines.
Power lines and trees were blocking major roadways and neighborhood streets. Power was lost throughout most of the city and surrounding area.
Josh Long was at a friend's house when he received an emergency alert.
It all came extremely fast. It came and went, and basically has everybody dazed and confused.
The National Weather Service estimates the storm was on the ground for approximately 26 minutes.
It took probably about 3 minutes for the tornado to go through town. It was moving fairly quickly. The storm was moving about 55 miles an hour.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer signing an emergency declaration for Otsego County.
There are not words to describe what the little that I was able to personally see, but it's devastating.
For the second night, officials issuing a curfew for Gaylord.
Again, we are going to be implementing a curfew during the hours of darkness until the morning. And again, this is for everyone's safety because the power is out downtown Gaylord. We will work tirelessly to bring our community back and restore vital services.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
A lot closer to home, here in West Texas, there was a memorial mass today in Saragossa to honor the 30 people who died in the deadliest tornado in West Texas history. ABC Big 2's meteorologist Ryan DePhillips has the story.
During the mass, tornado survivors and members of the community lit candles for each of their loved ones who lost their life. Norma Rodriguez was a teacher at Head Start Community Center in Saragossa who lost 6 of her relatives. Norma mentions how important it is that survivors should always remember their loved ones who died that tragic day.
Well, they still remember it every year, and lighting the candle means lighting to their souls.
Sam Brihelva, a man who was born and raised in Saragossa, lost 2 of his family members.
It affected a lot of people's lives, and the survivors were also affected. Many of them were injured, and they're still dealing with those injuries. It just changed so many lives forever.
One of the only 2 things that remained from the original church is a statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The other, which isn't shown here, a statue of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, which had the hands broken off. It's a faithful reminder to survivors that miracles can happen in times of tragedy.
And that was our Ryan DePhillips reporting. For more information on the mass and survivor stories from the tornado that hit on May 22nd, 1987, just head to yourbasin.com. And taking a live look outside now from our Midland Tower Cam. It's a cool night across the basin. Time now for a check on our weather with ABC Big 2's Bridget Sarpong.
And now your forecast first on ABC Big 2 News.
That's right, Rob. Not only is it a cool evening, but it's been a cool day. You know, we came in at a high of 81 degrees. Usually around this time in May, we're definitely used to 90-degree temperatures. So definitely a cool day for today. It didn't feel like summer like these past couple of weeks where we sat in triple digits. However, it did feel a little bit like spring and the sun was out. I'll have more of this weekend's forecast later on the show. Back over to you, Rob.
Thank you, Bridget. Now the Midland Police Department is investigating a crash that left 1 man dead this morning. The city said in a press release just after 5 o'clock this morning, officers responded to a single car crash near the 1700 block of West Industrial Avenue. Police say the driver, 38-year-old Adam Alvarez of Midland, died from his injuries at the scene. He was not wearing a seatbelt. The city said Alvarez was driving a 2008 Ford Mustang at a high rate of speed. He lost control and hit a gas meter and a fire hydrant, causing the vehicle to roll and eventually collide with a building on Industrial Avenue. Now, the Odessa Police Department is also investigating a single-car crash that left a driver dead early this morning. Just before 2:30, Odessa Police and Odessa Fire Rescue got the call to a rollover crash on the 4600 block of Golder Avenue. Police say a 2018 Dodge Ram 1500 was heading south on Golder. Police say the driver, Micah Womack, left the road and struck a guardrail. That caused the truck to roll. Now, Womack was ejected from the truck and pronounced dead on scene. Police did not list his age. And a moment of silence today in Buffalo, New York, just 7 days after that mass shooting at a Tops grocery store. Police gathered near the site of the shooting that happened last weekend to honor the lives of those killed. Now, 10 people total were killed. The youngest victim was just 32 years old. The oldest was 86. One of the victims, Aaron Salter Jr., was awarded a posthumous degree from College Today.
Canisius College is proud to confer upon Aaron W. Salter Jr. the degree of Bachelor of Arts posthumously.
Aaron Salter Jr. is the security guard who attempted to stop the mass shooter. Salter previously served as a Buffalo police officer. He became a security guard at Tops after retiring from the force. Salter was just 3 credits short, or 1 course, from finishing his degree in communications during his time as a student back in 1988. Now, the accused gunman, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron, has entered a not guilty plea. He's being held without bail, and he faces life in prison if convicted. Now, police in Southern California are investigating a mass shooting overnight that left 1 person dead and 8 others wounded. It happened just before midnight in San Bernardino. The gunfire began just before midnight outside of a hookah bar. Officers say a large crowd was attending a party when the gunfire began. So far, there have been no arrests. And across Texas, we are learning more about a deadly bee attack in West Austin. A landscape technician was in a tree when he accidentally disturbed a beehive. Those bees swarmed his body until firefighters could arrive. ABC's Daniel Marine was in that neighborhood to learn more about the attack and the man who now leaves behind a wife and 2 children.
He screamed for his life, fighting for his life.
53-year-old Franco Galvan Martinez was up in a tree in the backyard of a Terrytown home prepping for some lighting work when the bees swarmed, according to family friend and pastor Joe Maldonado.
The hive was so ginormous that it literally covered Franco instantly.
Dangling from his safety harness after knocking over his ladder and covered by thousands of bees, neighbors say they could hear Galvan Martinez's screams as 2 co-workers tried to get close enough to help.
For over 10 minutes, all they could do was endure hearing Franco's anguish.
Firefighters had to use hoses to blast the bees and reach the men. Neighbors say they've been aware of a hive at the home, but didn't expect anything like this to happen. The owner of the house declined comment when we stopped by. The Austin Code Department said an inspector has been assigned to the case, adding that city ordinance does regulate the maintenance and management of bee colonies within city limits, but the ordinance doesn't apply to wild colonies in tree hollows or stumps.
If you find yourself under attack, under no circumstances do you stop moving. You have to get indoors.
Mike Lopez is a professional beehive remover. He says during an attack, bees are attracted to the carbon dioxide we exhale.
Once you have 1, then you'll have 2, then you'll have 8, then you'll have 16, and it'll keep on till you have thousands on you.
Maldonado says he can't imagine the pain his friend endured.
We're going to miss him very much. We love him very much.
And after finding ways to cool down this week because of back-to-back triple-digit heat, you get to cool down tomorrow. I'll have those details after the break.
He was ready to get off that cliff for sure. A man somehow ends up hundreds of feet above the ocean on the side of a cliff. The daring rescue caught on camera next. And a former Texas Tech Raider is leading the field at the PGA Championship. Those highlights coming up. Stay with us.
Sunday, it's Idol star-studded finale. Hunter Girl, Noah, Leah. Who will be the next American Idol?
You are a superstar.
The grand finale live, coast to coast, ABC Sunday.
We're surprising teachers with gifts. I'll show up to a class with my surprise squad all school year. If you want to nominate a teacher, head to yourbasin.com.
Teacher Surprise Squad is sponsored by Pioneer Natural Resources.
Dude, great ride, right? This Silverado keeps me connected and in control. And this touchscreen is my command center. My command center.
The 2022 Silverado LT. Find new control. Find new roads.
Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing on all 2022 Silverado 1500 pickups. New models are arriving daily. Secure yours today. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
The on-demand world has made us all more demanding. Movies don't come out, they're just out. Even instant noodles aren't fast enough.
Hey, order ramen.
Ordering ramen. So you need the power of complete connectivity with our award-winning internet combined with Optimum Mobile. Now on the T-Mobile network, the leader in 5G coverage and speed. Get both for under $40 a month at Suddenlink.com. Suddenlink is becoming Optimum. Let's reconnect.
The new GMC Sierra. Premium and capable. That's professional grade. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on Sierra models. Visit your Permian Basin GMC dealer.
Shopping online for a purple mattress? We get it. With the Smart Comfort Grid made of super comfy yet ultra supportive hyperelastic polymer that makes for some serious pressure relieving comfort and support. But which purple mattress is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself. And right now, save up to $800 on mattress and Ascent adjustable base bundles. And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night better sleep guarantee. Shop Denver Mattress today, your purple mattress headquarters.
And now, your local Weather Authority forecast.
Well, the weekend has arrived and we've been waiting so long for this because we've had triple-digit heat for quite some time. Well, unlike today, that's when we have cooled down to double digits. And right now, taking a look at our Midland Tower cam, earlier Rob did say we do have a cool night, and indeed we do compared to what we have seen these past couple of nights. Currently in this moment, we are sitting at 69 degrees. Taking a look at our humidity, we have increased all the way up to 32%. And then the winds that you did see moving our Midland Tower cam, tongue twister, our Midland Tower cam, there we go. That is moving at east-northeast at 17 miles per hour. That's why we did see that shake going on with our Midland Tower cam. I got it right this time, you guys. Taking a look at our almanac, we did come down a little bit close today to some cool temperatures, but not too bad. 81-degree temperatures for our high. Around this time in May, we're definitely used to 90-degree temperatures. So we have cooled down by a couple of digits. We weren't as warm as I were back in 1953, where we sat in our triple digits at 105 degrees. Taking a look at our lows, we did come in pretty short for that as well by 4 degrees. 62 degrees for our low for today. Around this time in May, we're definitely used to 64-degree temperatures, so 2 degrees shorter than normal. Taking a look at our temperature change, though, the entire Permian Basin has cooled down. In Minnesota, 15 degrees cooler this same time 24 hours ago. In Big Spring, 8 degrees cooler. In Snyder, 15 degrees cooler. In Seminole, 12 degrees cooler. And what we did see in Presidio, they increased by 1 degree. So for the most part, still pretty cool. Now going into tomorrow morning, we'll be sitting in our 50s. A very cool start. Our winds will be traveling east at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Now we're going to be in our 50s only because we do have a cold front coming in our area around 2 a.m. on Sunday. We see it coming up up north, and then that's when it really starts to settle on in by 7 p.m., causing our temperatures in the area to be in, their mid-50s. Midland, Odessa, 55 degrees, tying with Big Spring. But then in Hobbs, where that cold front does touch, sitting at 50 degrees. So definitely not too bad whatsoever. Now, that cold front is going to stay with us until 1 p.m. And then we do increase, by at least like 12 digits warmer in Midland, Odessa, 62 degrees warm. And then in Big Spring, 67. Snyder reaches 70 degrees. And then in Presidio, they actually make it all the way up to 77 degrees by 1 p.m. Now, here's how our day is going to go with that cold front. We're going to start off at a cool morning at 50 degrees. Then by noon, that's when we'll be sitting at 58. Not too bad, just 8 degrees warmer by the time we get into noon. And then that's when we get all the way up to 68 degrees for a very dry kind of afternoon. Now, we do have a wind advisory going on until tomorrow around 8 in the morning. Now, that 7-day forecast is going to show that we are going to have some pretty good temperatures. 69 on tomorrow, 0% chance of rain, Rob. And then we get a little bit of some rain Monday and Tuesday, so not bad at all.
Absolutely, Bridget. The cooler temperatures, I certainly welcome that. Well, thank you very much. And caught on camera, a dramatic cliff rescue. In windy conditions, California Highway Patrol saved this man stranded on a cliff with at least a 500-foot drop. Tonight, the officer who saved the man is speaking about that rescue. Here's ABC's Cornell Bernard with more of this video.
Watch this jaw-dropping moment when a CHP chopper crew rescues a stranded man clinging to dear life on this cliff near Muzzle Rock in Daly City. But reaching him wasn't easy.
We had to do a short search because we weren't sure where he was on the cliff. Nobody could see him.
Pilot Brent Marker says the man was finally located midway down the steep cliff. This picture shows why he was so tough to spot.
He was in a very precarious spot. About 500 feet probably off the water, and that's about a 900-foot cliff.
Sky 7 captured the unfolding drama as the flight crew got ready to rescue the man who had fallen from the top, but weather conditions were working against this mission.
We were battling some extreme winds, so 30 to 40 knot winds.
Flight officer and paramedic David Arias is lowered from the chopper on a tether. He recorded the rescue with a GoPro on his helmet. Watch as he makes contact with the cliff. At first, the man grabs onto Officer Arias' legs.
He actually grabbed onto me, which is a very dangerous thing he did, because if I were to have swung away from him, he could have potentially fallen off the cliffs.
Seconds later, success.
I told him to kind of stay put on the cliff, and he kind of was able to get himself into the harness and help me out.
The man is lifted off the cliff to safety and soon back on solid ground.
Miraculously, he only had some scrapes and bruises, but that's about it.
The man was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but not before thanking this Napa Bay CHP flight crew for their help.
Yeah, he was pretty grateful to see us. He was ready to get off that cliff for sure.
And now your ABC Big 2 Sports.
Turning now to sports, the Warriors head to Dallas for Game 3 of the West Final tomorrow night. Golden State overcame a huge deficit in their 126-117 win over the Dallas Mavericks in Game 2 last night. Now for a look at those highlights. Second quarter, Dallas up 15. Luka Doncic kicks it out to Jalen Brunson. Brunson knocks down the three. Brunson finished with 31 points. Mavs up 18. Under a minute left in the half, Golden State down 16. Steph Curry steps back and buries the three. Warriors down 13. And just moments later, Dallas up 11. Doncic responds with a three from way downtown. Mavs up 14 at the break. Third quarter, Golden State down 11. Klay Thompson drives in and throws it down. Warriors down 9. Final seconds of the third quarter. Warriors down 4. Andrew Wiggins drives and dishes to Kevon Looney for the dunk before the buzzer. Warriors down 2, heading to the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter now, Golden State up 1. Jordan Poole feeds Looney inside for the slam. Looney finished with a career-high 21 points and 12 rebounds. Warriors up 3 under 4 minutes. Dallas down 9. Doncic buries the step-back 3. He would finish the game with a high 42 points. In under 3 minutes, Golden State up 6. Curry finishes the acrobatic layup. And then Curry hits the 3 for the dagger. He finished 32 points. Warriors rally back from a 19-point deficit and take the game 2 of the series. Again, they go to Dallas tomorrow. And at the PGA Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma, rain, cool temperatures, and howling winds created some tough conditions And right now, a former Texas Tech Raider is leading the scoreboard. But first, we start with Tiger Woods, who withdrew after posting a 9 over 79 in the third round. This is par 3, 6th. Tiger Woods with the tee shot that goes into the water. Woods with triple bogey on the hole. Par 5th, 9th hole. Woods with the shot from the bunker. He chips but can't get it out as he lodges straight into the grass. Woods would bogey on the hole. Par 4, 15th. Woods buries the long birdie putt. That's his only birdie of the day, finishing at 12 over, heading into the final day. Now Webb Simpson, 13th hole, par 5, with the chip shot onto the green, and he gets the roll for the eagle. What a shot by Simpson as he sits at 1 under, heading into the final day. Jordan Spieth, par 4 on 12th, with a shot from the rough that looks like it's going into the water but skips out. What a crazy shot by Spieth. Spieth would bogey on the hole and sits at 5 over. Now Cameron Young, 17th hole, sinks the long putt for the eagle. Young sits at 5 under, tied for third. Now for a look at the shot of the day, hole 14, Rory McIlroy's tee shot nearly gets the ace, but get this, it hits the pin and settles a foot out. McIlroy would birdie on the hole and sits at even for the final day. And Mito Pereira, former Texas Tech golfer, hits the long birdie putt. He jumps into the lead. Hole 18, par 4.
This for birdie. Release.
Pereira putt to finish the day off. He sits at 9 under and in first going into the final day tomorrow. And coming up tonight, rising recession fears pushed U.S. stocks briefly into a bear market. On Friday, tonight we take a look at how investors are faring. We'll be right back.
Vineyard, Midland's premier master planned community, impeccable high-end luxury with resort-style amenities. These Silverleaf homes are located close to Green Tree Country Club and are walking distance to Faskin Elementary. Contact Alexa to schedule your private showing.
That's a pretty tight spot.
Watch this.
Your Buick Park said so. That's so you.
Of course you know where we're going. That's so you.
Kinda got a 6th sense.
And a head-up display.
They're here.
You brought all these players in your Buick?
Yep.
So you.
It is.
At the heart of every Buick SUV is you. Pay no interest on Buick SUV models.
Visit your Permian Basin Buick dealer. With colder temperatures rolling in, turn to Billy Black HVAC, the only factory-authorized Carrier dealer in West Texas for all of your heating needs. Call Billy Black HVAC today to get your furnace maintained to ensure you stay nice and toasty inside while the temperature dips outside. Specializing in new construction, residential and commercial, as well as service. Call on the experts at Billy Black HVAC.
Hi, I'm Billy Black, and we'd love a chance to earn your business. Oh, love that Chevy Blazer. That's our next SUV. Love that Equinox. That's our next SUV.
Nice Trailblazer.
It was love at first sight. What?
The Chevy family of SUVs. Find new options. Find new roads.
Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing on most 2021 and 2022 Chevy SUVs when you finance with GM Financial. New models are arriving daily. Secure yours today. See your Permian Basin Chevy dealers.
You want to feel important, to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
We know. We felt that way too.
And that's why we joined the Army National Guard. Take on your legacy.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Watch Samantha Skorechniak, Matt Fonts, and Ryan D. Phillips at 11:30.
Back now on ABC Big 2 News, the stock market is just escaping bear territory. The S&P closed up a fraction on Friday, now down 19% from its recent high. The Dow Jones closing up nearly 9 points and the Nasdaq down nearly 44. Many Americans are seeing their 401ks taking a hit. ABC's Deidre Bolton has more.
High volatility and high anxiety.
The stock market is
is a scary place.
Since the beginning of the year, investors have had a rough ride. The Dow has lost 14%, the S&P 500 more than 18%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ lower by more than 27%.
Market volatility can be nerve-wracking. There's absolutely no denying that. The important thing is to not panic.
Most experts agree, like self-employed attorney and investor Christopher Chamarios, that weathering downturns is part of the equation.
I don't get too excited when the market really booms, and I don't get too anxious when the market dives, again, because I'm farther off from retirement.
But uncertainty and rising prices for some, like Connie Kitchens, taking them out of retirement.
I don't think it's going to end no time soon.
So many are worrying about their 401ks right now, and Fidelity, the largest 401k administrator in the country, recommends investment diversity.
Talk to your financial advisor. And so we don't want to be too over-invested in stocks. We want to be more conservatively invested as we approach our retirement.
For some, that isn't enough.
We used to could get like a family pack of chicken wings to feed us for about $6 or $7, and now it's costing like $20.
And those price jumps, along with becoming a caregiver to her grandchildren, led Kitchens to change her life plan.
I thought I was retired. I'm going back to work. So I'm still in good health. So it's not going to hurt me to go back to work.
She's not alone. According to the Washington Post, some estimates say around 1.5 million retirees have come back to the workforce.
And that was Deidre Bolton reporting. While a number of retirees are returning to the workforce, it's reported there's more than enough open job positions and not enough workers to fill them all.
Heroes need to be recognized. Like, these guys were heroes. It wasn't for them, like, someone would be dead.
And heart-stopping video tonight. Deputies pull a 9-year-old boy from a burning home. His parents are now grateful more than ever. And as we head to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure you use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News. And if you haven't done it yet, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are ABC Big 2 News.
Big 2 Sports, brought to you by Glasheen Vaez and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
She always had a beautiful smile.
She just had that foundation of love, and I just couldn't ask for anything more.
She was excited to have her own family. I was on the floor of the hospital. I fell to the ground.
That's when we realized how many mistakes were made.
You go out looking for representation, somebody to help you.
A lot of people don't want to take on this type of case. It's going to be a dogfight.
News Nation Investigates, Monday at 8/7 Central, only on Prime.
That's a pretty tight spot.
Watch this.
Your Buick parks itself. That's so you.
Of course you know where we're going. That's so you.
Kind of got a sixth sense.
And a head-up display.
They're here.
You brought all these players in your Buick?
Yep.
So you.
It is.
At the heart of every Buick SUV is you. Pay no interest on Buick SUV models.
Visit your Permian Basin Buick dealer. We're trying Golden Chic's new Big and Golden Chicken Sandwich.
This is good.
That's hand-breaded right there. And now bigger and better than ever.
Crispy, flavorful.
Next time, try it Nashville Hot.
That bun does it. The king of chicken sandwiches.
The king of chicken sandwiches.
Dude, great ride, right? This Silverado keeps me connected and in control. And this touchscreen is my command center. My command center.
The 2022 Silverado LT. Find new control. Find new roads.
Well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% financing on all 2022 Silverado 1500 pickups. New models are arriving daily. Secure yours today. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Reynolds Wrap makes it easy to cook and clean up meals in no time. So I didn't miss all the fun stuff.
Easy prep, cook, and clean with Reynolds Wrap.
And new at 10, this is the dramatic rescue caught on camera, showing deputies rushing to save a young boy from a house fire. The boy makes it out safely, and his parents are praying for the 9-year-old's recovery. We want to warn you, you may find the video hard to watch. Here's ABC's Julie Salomon with the rescue and how the parents are thanking law enforcement tonight.
A Hillsborough County deputy runs to danger. Flames from a house fire illuminate the night sky.
Where's he at in the house?
In his bedroom.
Where's he at?
In his bedroom.
Karen McGinnis is screaming for her 9-year-old son, Owen, who is still inside. Body camera video released by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office shows deputies busting out windows to try and save her son. Mom reaching into broken glass to do the same.
Heroes need to be recognized. Like, these guys were heroes. If it wasn't for them, my son would be dead. It was like within minutes he wouldn't have made it.
Karen and her boyfriend made it out of their Seffner home when the fire started around 11 Thursday night. Flames reaching her son's bedroom. She went outside to see if she could break a window.
The part that keeps playing back in my head because I couldn't break the window and all I could hear him saying was, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy," and I couldn't get him.
Deputies busted several windows and say Owen followed their flashlight and voices. Getting to a window, they pulled him to safety.
But all I could do was say, "Please, God, please don't take our son right now. Please give him back to us." And he heard me, and all of a sudden I heard someone say, "We've got him. We've pulled him out." And I said, yes, thank you, Jesus, thank you.
Firefighters say the fire started after the family used an outdoor fire pit and accidentally fell asleep. Owen remains at Tampa General Hospital in intensive care. He suffered second-degree burns and smoke inhalation. The 9-year-old who loves football is currently sedated.
Knowing that what I saw in the flames and how quickly it spread through the house is devastating, and to know that we all walked away from that just in the nick of time, it just blows me away.
That was Julie Salamone reporting. Now, the home is a total loss, but Owen's mother said his injuries are not as critical as they first believed. Again, he is in recovery at a hospital. And we'll be right back.
On now at Ashley's Memorial Day Sale. Shop amazing deals on in-stock items with free and fast doorstep delivery. Buy one, get one half off. Plus, get 0% interest for 12 months. This week only at Ashley.
The new GMC Sierra. Premium and capable. That's professional grade. Step up to GMC with 0% financing on Sierra models. Visit your Permian Basin GMC dealer.
We're checking out. We'll miss you. How was your stay?
We travel all over, and this hotel is our favorite. We love the free breakfast buffet in the mornings and the omelet station.
My favorite thing is the super fast Wi-Fi in the room. I can get my work done and plug my PS4 into that huge 50-inch TV and game all night.
This is the best sleep I've ever had on the most comfortable bed. And I love the Starbucks coffee and the Bath & Body Works soaps in the room.
We'll see you again soon.
The MCM Grande Hotel and Fun Dome, Odessa.
You ever feel like life's out of control? Maybe alcohol, drugs, sexual abuse, divorce, or anger has touched your life, and you feel like things are never going to get better. There's hope. It's called Celebrate Recovery, a program based on the truths found in the Bible, the ultimate recovery manual. If life is an endless cycle of hurts, habits, and hang-ups, Celebrate Recovery is the place for you. For more information, call us, Kelview Heights Baptist Church, 682-3842.
This week at Ashley's Memorial Day Sale. Find amazing deals on in-stock items with free and fast doorstep delivery. Plus, get 5 years special financing with absolutely no money down. Going on now at Ashley.
Before we take a look at that 7-day forecast, we will be seeing a cold front coming in the basin around 3 in the morning tomorrow. So definitely not bad. Now what that's going to do is cause our temperatures to dip into, about the upper 60s, close to the, lower 70s. So definitely not bad whatsoever. Now here's what that's going to do for us though, because we did have days where we did sit in our triple digits. So that's going to cause us to really be at 69-degree temperatures once my graphic decides to pull on up. at 69 degrees. We are going to have some strong winds for tomorrow. And Rob, take a look at that 7-day forecast. It shows that Monday we're going to have a 40% chance of some rain, some mildness, and then Tuesday a 20% chance of some PM showers. So, you know, not bad at all, really. Some heat and then some rain.
Absolutely. Well, after all this dust blowing around, I'm hoping Mother Nature gives me a discount and decides to wash my car.
There you go.
I'm praying for that. That's all the time we have for news. Thank you so much for joining us. See you tomorrow.